Hello everyone, welcome to Jumbo IS. Today will be the fourth day of Geography MCQs and these MCQs will be from Landform chapter. So we have already uploaded the notes. So you should first read those notes, then practice MCQs and then you should watch this video. Okay, so there will be 3 times revision of every topic and every subtopic. First, whenever you are studying the notes. Second, whenever you are practicing the MCQs. And third, whenever you are watching this video. Okay, so let's start with the first MCQ. MCQ number 1 says what? Consider the following pairs: potholes, circular depressions formed by abrasion in the rocky beds of hill streams. We have discussed about abrasion, that it is one of the sandpaper effect, where if we talk about any river or any wind, the particle it is carrying with itself, they will be collided with the rock or any other surfaces. So with that, erosion occurs. So that's called abrasion in nature. Okay, so what are potholes? Potholes are the circular depressions whenever this is the surface and river is flowing over the surface. Sometimes there will be some potholes because river is carrying some amount of pebbles, gravels and rocky particles, which they ultimately hit this surface and a kind of circular depressions are being formed. So yes, the statement number 1 is right. Plunge pools, large deep depressions at the base of waterfalls. Yes, whenever you are visiting any waterfall, don't go too near to that waterfall because there will be too much of depth, and that deep area is called plunge pools. Okay, so yes, it is formed by the sheer impact of water. Incised meanders, we know that meander is like this. Meander is not any landform, but it is just a flow pattern or channel pattern. In this, erosion and deposition both occur simultaneously. That we'll discuss in detail in the next few MCQs. But for now, incised meanders are those meanders which are basically present within the rocky surfaces and not just on the present on the surface. They are basically different types of rocks, and they have cut these rocks, and this kind of meandering pattern they have been following. Okay, so incised is deep loops carved into hard bedrocks due to slow and consistent vertical erosion. Yes, whenever river is in its youth stage, then vertical erosion will be very high. So you will find incised meanders in the young stage of any river, and you will find normal meanders in the mature stage of any river. Okay, so all these 3 statements are right. Which of the pair given above is correctly matched? Then answer will be your D, 1, 2 and 3. With reference to river terraces, we have discussed that these are kind of river terraces. These are called paired river terraces. If this is the area from where river is flowing. If we talk about unpaired terraces, then they will be like this. So this is the river pattern. So unpaired is basically there is no length and breadth similarity between two sides. Okay, so river terraces number 1, they represent the levels of former floodplains. Floodplains are those areas whenever flood is occurring, then the area of river increases. And if area of river increases, then ultimately the areas where river is still present now, basically it is depositing all kind of silt, sand and clay on these areas, because here the speed of the river is minimum. As we know that river speed is maximum at the center and minimum at the banks. So these are the areas where floodplains are forming, because here silt, sand and clay are depositing by river. So yes, these river terraces are basically representing the older floodplains. Whenever river is flooded, then these areas will also get flooded, and these are basically forming the floodplains. Okay, so that depends upon the amount of flood, the amount of water during the flood. Okay, so statement number 1 is right. Paired terraces occur when vertical erosion by the river is slower than the lateral movement of channel. This is the lateral movement of river, this is the vertical movement of river. So they should be kind of similar, the vertical plus lateral erosion, or this vertical erosion should be kind of faster than the lateral erosion, and then only paired terraces are formed. Okay, not only paired, but all river terraces are formed when vertical erosion is more than the lateral erosion. Okay, so this statement is wrong. They are purely depositional features formed by accumulation of silt during floods. No, they are erosional features. Floodplains are depositional features, but these are not the floodplains. They are just representing the floodplains. The difference in the height, difference in the length is basically kind of terraces. Okay, so statement number 3 is also wrong. So select the correct answer. So answer will be your A, 1 only. Which of the following sequence correctly represent the landforms from the upper course to the lower course of river? River is flowing from young stage to mature stage to old stage, and as it moving from young to mature to old stage, the speed decreases, the erosive power of river decreases, and the depositional power of river increases. Because if higher the speed, higher will be the erosion, lesser will be the deposition, and vice versa. Okay, so first of all, in the young stage of river, it will form v-shaped valley. Yes. Then alluvial fan is basically formed at the foothills of mountains. Whenever river is at the foothills of mountains, some kind of sand, silt and clay are basically deposited at there. And then oxbow lake is formed due to the meandering power of river. So ultimately the river is meandering, and this is the kind of oxbow lake present here. Okay, a kind of like this oxbow, just like the bow. Okay, and then ultimately delta is formed when the silt, sand and clay are deposited at the mouth of the river. So it is representing the last and old stage of the river. So this will be the again first sequence. Gorges, yes, they can be formed in the young stage, and delta is basically at the last stage of river. So delta cannot be in between second and the third number. Okay, so statement number 2 is wrong. Potholes, yes, they can be formed during young age. Oxbow lake, alluvial fan, natural levees. Okay, so oxbow lake is the form of a mature stage, and alluvial fans are formed at the foothills of mountains again during the young stage. Okay, so that's why the statement is wrong. Waterfalls, meanders, penny plains, incised meanders, everything is kind of young stage and not the old stage. So answer is your option A. Next is consider the following statements regarding natural levees and point bars. Natural levees are basically, if this is the river, then there will be the speed of the river minimum, because at the bank river speed is minimum because it is interacting with the surface as well. So here there will be the presence of levees or the formation of banks. Okay, so these are natural levees. It is basically the deposition of sand and silt and clay that has been brought by the river itself. They can be artificial levees whenever we put the sand, the powders and the pebbles and the rock surfaces. So that can be artificial levees as well. And point bars, again, point bars are basically the area in the meanders. If meander is like this, okay, so this will be its convex side, this will be its concave side. In the convex side there will be the deposition of sand, silt and clay, and here it will be the erosion by river and continuously going from this to this area. And as it is deposition, this is the basically kind of depositing itself, that like sand, silt and clay as well. Okay, so point bars are present on the convex side of the meander, and these are called the cut-off banks on the concave side of the meander. So we have to talk about these two terms. Natural levees are found along the banks of a broad river and are low, linear ridges of coarse deposits. Yes, a kind of sand deposit. So that is why coarse deposits. Point bars are also known as meander bars and are found on the concave side of the river. No, point bars are on the convex side, and concave bank is responsible for the erosion by river channel. Okay, so that's which of the statement given above is correct? Then answer will be your A, one only. Next is consider the following statements regarding glacial erosional features. Cirques are basically a kind of low depression. If this is your mountain, one face of the mountain, here will be kind of the circular depression. Whenever the glacier was there, and if glacier has moved to the downward side, some rock have been plugged with the glacier because these rocks were embedded within that glacier. Okay, so whenever glacier is moving downward, some type of depressions are being left by glaciers, and those depressions are called cirque. And if lake is formed in this cirque, then they are called cirque lake or tarn lake. Okay, so they are found at the heads of glacial valleys. Yes, whenever the starting of valley is there, then these cirques can be found. Arites are formed when three or more cirques cut back until their heads meet. First of all, if there is basically, if this is the mountain face, and if glacier is moving towards downward direction from head to ultimately the lower part of the valley, then this will be kind of depressed and kind of having a deep depression in the whole slope of the mountain. Okay, so if there is presence of cirque, there is presence of cirque, and there will be a one thin line or of mountain which is called arete, that area between two cirques, because two cirques are kind of depression areas, and these areas are forming cirque, and this slope is also forming cirque. So this is the line which is the kind of thin in nature, which is separating two cirques, are called arete. And yes, there is no are formed when three or more cirques cut back until their heads meet. Okay. Okay, so there will not be only three or more cirques, there can only two cirques as well. And horns are the sharp zigzag ridges that separate two cirque basins. No, arete is that. And the second statement is basically of horn. This is the horn of the mountain, just like Matterhorn in the Alps mountains. So that horn is basically the convergence of two aretes, and one arete is kind of separating two cirques or two cirque lakes. Okay, so statement number one is only correct statement. Next two and three are incorrect. So answer will be your option A, one only. Okay. Next is consider the match the following glacial depositional features with their descriptions. Number one, eskers. Whenever esker name emerges, you have to remember that this is the sinuous ridges. A kind of sinuous ridges are formed due to the depositional feature of any glacier in the outwash plate. Okay, so sinuous ridges of boulder and sand deposited by melt water or glacier. Drumlins, oval shaped ridges of glacial till resembling an inverted boat. Yes, they are also called basket of egg topography. This is called your drumlins. Outwash plain, extensive accumulation of silt, sand, gravel beyond the terminal moraine. Yes, ultimately the outwash plain is there. The last is terminal moraine. A kind of, if this is the glacier, there will be the terminal moraine, and whenever glacier melts or glacier retreat, these all areas basically called your outwash plain, because the ice has been melted. So not only this area whenever the water is going toward any direction, that is also formed your outwash plain. Okay, so yes, all three statements are right. Which of the pair is correctly matched? Then answer will be your D, 1, 2 and 3. Next is plucking and abrasion are the primary erosional processes of glaciers. What is the result of these processes on the valley floor? Plucking, we have known that this is the erosional feature of glacier, and glacier always form U-shaped valley, and river always form V-shaped valley or I-shaped valley, because river has more vertical erosion and then less than lateral erosion, but glacier is moving like a tongue. So this is forming the glacial trough. A U-shaped valley is being formed by the glacial erosion. Okay, so V-shaped valley profile with interlocking spurs. No, this is basically your river. These are called interlocking spurs. Whenever you are visiting the mountains, you can see that all the mountain ranges are interlocked with each other. U-shaped profile with polished and striated rock surfaces. Yes, that can be the true statement. Step like terraces along the mountain slope. No, this is one of the erosional features of the glaciers, and terraces are basically formed by the river and not the glaciers. Okay, deep narrow canyons with vertical walls, again the river. Okay, so waterfalls, gorges, canyons, everything is formed by the river erosion and not by the glacier erosion. Okay, so statement number two is seem to be more appropriate than any other option. So answer will be your option B. Next is with reference to mushroom rocks in deserts. These are kind of mushroom rocks. Okay, consider the following statements. They are formed by the wind's depositional activity. No, they are basically formed whenever wind is flowing. The area below or near the surface or near the ground has more amount of sand particle, and these sand particles are colliding with this rock surface, and abrasion is occurring. So that is why this area is getting more eroded, and this area is getting less eroded, because as we are moving to the upper ground or the upper atmosphere in this area, then the sand particle is less and there will be less abrasion, and hence there will be less erosion. Okay, so no depositional activity, it is erosional activity. Number two, erosion is greater near the ground level because winds carry more abrasive sand grains at the lower heights. Very, very, very true statement. Okay, so they are also known as rock pedestals. Yes, a kind of rock pedestals, a kind of platform. Okay, so one of the very unique features of wind erosion. So 2 and 3 are right statements. So answer will be your option B, 2 and 3. Next is consider the following statements about sand dunes. Sand dunes are the depositional feature by wind. Okay. So first of all, barkans are crescent shaped. Yes, barkans are crescent shaped. Parabolic sand dunes are crescent shaped, where the wings point downwind away from the wind. So first of all, you have to remember these two terms, parabolic and your barkans. These are your parabolic dunes. The wings are present in the opposite direction of the wind direction. Okay, and whenever we talk about barkans, then this wing shape, the wing like structure is in the direction of the wind. So the two shapes are very, very, very similar, but the difference is of wind direction and the deposition of sand dunes. Okay, so whenever we talk about parabolic, then you have to remember that wings are on the opposite direction of wind, and in barkans, the wind direction and your or your the wing like structure of the sand dunes is in similar direction. Okay, so statement number one is very right away from the wind. Parabolic form is the crescent shaped dunes where the wings point downward away from the wind. Yes, parabolic dunes formed when wind direction is constant and the sand surface is partially covered with vegetation. Yes, it is partially covered with the vegetation. Okay, next is, okay, Saphs are longitudinal dunes with only one wing. Basically, saphs are half of barkans. So these are called these half of barkans. Okay, so these are also called your longitudinal dunes with only one wing. One wing. Longitudinal plus one wing or half of the barkans. Both can be the definition of this saph. Okay, so which of the following statement given above is correct? Then answer will be your D, 1, 2, and 3.